cosmos. In the vast universe, the history of humanity is but a flash of light from a lone star. The life of a single person should be lost in space and time. But among the stars, there is one light that burns brighter than all others. The light of Samus Aran. Her battles extend beyond her life and etch themselves into history. Here, another chapter of that history will be written.
What's up, Stock Cop City? How you doing? How's your day going? Just getting on a chocolate, I hope. Alright, let's see if I still got this. Yeah, it's all good. I just finished work, so I gotta play me some Metroid Prime. See if I've missed a step or not. I don't think so, though. On a bit of a down buzz, though, because I had to remove one of my interviews. Which is lame. For those that don't know, I recently released an interview with a guy, Anthony Castellano. Take it down. Not really state why at this stage. Hopefully it's only temporary and I can put it back online. Just have to see. They did a killer job on this game. I think this is the best looking Switch game. Easily. Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Wind Waker. Worst intros. It's pretty important. enjoy watching the cutscenes. Samus looks so badass. This is my first step, by the way. If there's any problems, let me know. Something that I didn't actually recognize until a couple of years ago.
Evacuate immediately.
Every Metroid game has
Evacuate immediately.
Thanks, Cinemax, bro. How you doing, man? Infinity 868. How you doing? Infinity, your energy level? Difficult to hear. Okay. Or is that better? Can you hear me better now? Maybe I think you need to turn the game up. Brendan McCormack. Am I okay to hear? Cool, cool. Sometimes I think I'm louder than I actually am. Sweet. So I just need to be closer to the mic, basically. Hey Cinemax, when am I hearing some new jams from you, bro? This is the perfect intro, seriously. It's intense, teaches you what you need to know, as opposed to Twilight Princess where you're herding goats. Nice. So, for those that don't know, I recently posted an interview and it got taken down. Well, a dev asked me to take it down, primarily because it's causing a massive meltdown. I'm hoping maybe I can reinstate it at some point, but I'll just have to see. This is actually the first time it's happened. I've actually had to take an interview down. Oh, that's the newest one, the Anthony Garcelano. I posted it. When did I post it? Wednesday? Yeah, so it's pretty annoying because all the research you do and then all the editing and then, trying to market it. So, Oni64, how you doing, bruh? I've got some other interviews planned, but sometimes they just take ages to happen. So there's one interview I've been trying to prep for I think a year and a half. Yeah, it was causing a massive meltdown. There's a lot involved. I can't really talk about it much at this stage, which is unfortunate. But I know for a fact Nintendo probably hate my guts, given how much info I've managed to get out of people regarding Retro Studios and Metroid. But I have no idea why they are such anal retentives in regards to information. Basically, when developers in the West release a game, they're happy to talk about it. But Nintendo of Japan are like, nah. We don't want anyone to know anything. Ever. Oh, by the way, Oni, if I can call you Oni, you asked me ages ago, I think on one of my other videos, to get some devs, and I did see your comment, by the way. It's just particularly people from Factor 5, because of Epic Games and all of that, they just don't want to talk. In fact, for every one person that agrees, probably 40 people say no to me. Yeah. So, that's why I've realized why people don't really do interviews. Because it's just a lot of rejection. I'm actually still trying to get used to these controls. I'm so used to the Wiimote setup. Infinity 868, that's one of the things about Nintendo. They make some of the best, but they're not very community oriented. You got that right. Damn.
Data received.
It's actually really annoying. I don't know if it's just because they live in some sort of high life, or if they're aware of it, and they're just like, nah, we don't care. Sweet. Smash a mean feed, Cinemax. Yeah, here's the thing with Mike Wicken. I really want to do a second one with him, but I don't think he's keen. Yeah, the last interview I did with him, I think that also caused some problems for Nintendo, but I can't say for sure. But yeah, he's definitely one person I want to do a second interview with. If I did speak to him again, I might just have to avoid Metroid entirely and talk about other stuff. So if I recall correctly, the last time I spoke to him, I think half the interview was about Metroid Prime and the other was about leadership, the actual industry in and of itself. Oh yeah, yep. I think I know the one you're talking about. So when I was going to interview Mike, I basically went down a rabbit hole in researching. So I think I've seen that Zoom interview that you're talking about. Was he talking to someone, a bunch of school kids, wasn't it? Or was it a university lecturer? Yeah, they didn't realize they were in the presence of greatness. Interestingly enough, when I did the Mike Wicken interview, I did it on 1 hour's sleep and I had fractured ribs at the time. So I would like to do one with him where I'm not actually in pain. Hey. Always been the boss that I hate the most in this game. And just to let you guys know, I might be doing a review Metroid Prime Remastered with Lloyd and Jack Matthews, so the senior engineer and the lead technical engineer on the game, well, the OG version. But I just have to wait for them to finish the game first. So I can talk about it. Is there anyone you guys would like me to interview? I can't make any guarantees because everybody likes to see it. Probably Jack Matthews again. Yeah, he is the man. I love that guy. I'm trying to convince my wife that we should go to America this year. Because she's got actually family up there. So then I actually have an excuse to catch up with him in person. Which would be cool. But whether it happens or not, I don't know. Do I have a favorite entry in the Metroid Prime trilogy? I know it's popular to say the first one, but there actually are times where I prefer the second one and times when I prefer the third one. I actually like them all equally. Depends on what mood I'm in. I think when it first released, I think I liked the first one the most, but over time as I played them more, particularly the second one, because the second one is actually a lot harder. Dennis Dyack, who worked on Eternal Darkness. Alright, sounds like a plan. I'll have to reach out to him. I actually want to speak to some females as well. Sometimes I feel like my show's turning into a bit of a sausage fest. I really hope to God they remaster it. Try and prove it. Seriously. He followed me on Twitter when I had one. Played all three and there's something about the first one. It's like the first bit. So. Yeah. Can't argue with that. Die, die. Hang on, who followed you on Twitter? Dennis Dyack? Is that who followed you on Twitter? What are we talking about here? Oh, yeah. Okay, sweet. I just noticed there's a fly on my wall, and I really hope it just doesn't move. All right. Yamamoto Gangster. I'm having a mind blank right now. What am I doing here? There it is. There is seriously no other game like the Metroid Prime games. I'm trying to think. I want to say Doom, but I don't think Doom and Prime are the same. They have similarities, but seriously, there's nothing like this. Even 20 years on after the original. Did you ever play Geist on the GameCube? I hired it out, but I vaguely remember it. Just vaguely. It's probably one of those games that needs a remaster though. I have no idea how some of these speedrunners, they just memorize every single aspect of these games. Lee868. I always thought of Metroid Prime, Halo, and Half-Life as being related. Although different, they all just kind of remind me of each other. And you've done interviews for all of them. Indeed I have. I do actually want to do some more Halo ones. That's right. The FPS action game where you play as a ghost and possess things. It's weird because during GameCube, that's where I feel Nintendo was really firing on all cylinders in terms of experimentation. Okay. Turok. First Turok was awesome. I played the second. I don't think I played the third. But yeah, Turok was awesome. Turok was the prelude to this. Is this where I need to go? Yeah, I think so. Guys, does not age well. You know what games haven't aged well? Nintendo 64 games. Most of them have not aged well at all. Graphics aside. Probably. Mike working through on a lot of stuff. It's a pity NDAs exist, because I think that's one of the main reasons why you have to wait until they leave the industry and then they're willing to talk. It's like peak summer here, and it's hot as hell. I'm like drenched in sweat. Wave Buster, how you doing, man? Good name, by the way. Wasn't until halfway through playing the game that I realized that you can actually use Springboard. I can turn it down. Is that better? Yeah, man, you gotta kill an aim. The Wave Buster is the best upgrade, I feel, out of the beam weapons in Metroid Prime. Oh, where the hell do I go? Line blank. I think I just screwed this up. Well, that's never happened before. It's because I'm trying to do multiple things at the same time. I really hope with Prime 4 that they have the beam upgrades, that they don't do the stacking thing like Prime 3. But I guess we'll just have to see. Okay. How about now? What Wave Buster, is it better? Where the hell am I going again? Oh yeah, that's right. I'll just save on the offhand that I die. I won't die, but in case there's a power cut or something, I don't know. Well, actually, that doesn't matter because it's a Switch. I wouldn't mind if PP4 use this enhanced engine instead of what they were using, I think. Nah, so what it is Retro have just constantly been refining the root engine. That's what they've been doing this whole time. That's the engine they use. And I think with every game they just improve on it. I think they might have taken the renderer from Unreal or something, but that's about it as far as I'm aware. Seriously though, these graphics are sick, right? I mean, I still don't know how the hell they were able to pull this off. Can you imagine Quadraxis in HD? Glorious HD. Did I already scan that one? I can't even remember. Facts, Oni. Facts. I think there's still a lot of confusion over what's a remaster and what's a remake and all that stuff. I might get when I speak to Jack. Crap, I'm missing one. I might get him to clarify all that stuff because he's a technical wizard. But apparently, so if you're using the same code, it's still a remake. It's still a remaster, sorry. Apparently. Oh my gosh. Where is... What was the most interesting fact you learned from your Metroid Prime interviews? Oh, that's a tough one. Man, there's so many. The Luminoth language one was a pretty mind-blowing fact. And the funny thing was about that was I didn't even ask Mike about it. He just shared it, just out of nowhere. I was asking him about lore. I asked who wrote the lore, and then he's like, oh yeah, by the way, Carl Deckard wrote the Luminoth language. And it's based on the Knuckles. Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. What's another one that surprised me? Man, there's so many facts that I've learned. I think the stuff about the camera is pretty cool. Mark Haig Hutchinson's amazing work on the camera. Because I didn't actually realize it until Mike pointed it out that you never lose track of Samus, regardless of what you're doing, right? The camera's always on her 24/7. Testament to the late Mark Haig Hutchinson. Rest in peace, buddy. Yeah, why? I wonder how, sometimes if they started with the lore, or how, should have asked Mike when I spoke to him, but how long into the process of designing a game do you start to build the lore and the characters? Or do you start primarily with just the gameplay first? Go away. I imagine there's heaps of stuff we still don't know. If you think about, so I've only spoken to 4 Retro Studios devs that worked on the original Metroid Prime. And what, we were 35 people on staff? So there's still a lot of facts to uncover. It's interesting with Prime 2, they really upped the ante with the morph ball puzzles. You know what? We're going to take the flag row concept and we're just going to dial it up to 11. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. I don't know why there's a short version and a longer version. You know what I want in Prime 4? A run button. Damn right, Shine Spark and Prime 4. If they can somehow make Samus as agile as she is in the 2D games, man, that would be so awesome. Yeah, because I remember speaking to Jack about why they didn't include the Shine Spark in Prime 1. Well, even the Prime Trilogy at all. I think it's primarily because of loading. Because of the doors and having to load each room, and you want to slow the player down. So appreciate your work speaking to the original developers. Always fascinating to learn about each game's development history. Thanks. Appreciate it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I did speaking to them. Finisher. I wonder if that was a Mortal Kombat reference. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's actually a good idea to archive the interviews in case Nintendo comes down on my ass. I don't think they can do anything though. I think with the one that recently I had to remove, I think that's a rare case. And to be perfectly honest, it wasn't Nintendo that told me to take it down. It's the developer that told me to take it down. So, and out of respect for him, that's why I've done it. But Nintendo doesn't have really much legal grounds to take an interview down unless I was using a whole bunch of footage or something. But yeah, it is probably a good idea. I should probably archive these. Or someone else can do it for me. Yeah, no. Agreed. Hang on a sec. Yeah, I'm pretty gutted that I've had to take the interview down. However, it's not permanent. I've had to just set it to private for now. Hopefully it doesn't... I don't have to keep it that way forever, but we'll just have to see. Here's an interesting fact. I actually interviewed Andre from Game Explain. But after the interview, we both agreed, let's keep this in the vault for a while. So we have. It's still sitting on my hard drive somewhere. Your interviews have really done us a huge service. Hopefully more to come, buddy. Hopefully more to come. I just want to get to Fins Run It Drifts. They did indeed. They did indeed. They didn't credit him. I actually reckon that happens all the time. I mean, it's obviously prominent in the gaming industry, but it's probably even worse in the film industry. It really just depends on contracts and how they all work. But imagine doing all this work and then you go into an interview and they're like, oh, yeah, show us your work. Oh, I did this. Or prove it. Oh, but I can't. What? Yeah, well, if I do end up sending the interview back to public, then I'll let everybody know. But for now, it's just the way it has to be. Nintendo must really, really hate me, though. They're like, this bastard keeps revealing all our secrets. Interestingly enough, I actually have reached out to both Nintendo of America and Nintendo of Australia back in 2014 to try and get a job, and I got turned down. I got turned down twice at Nintendo of Australia. So this is just payback. Yeah, the retro devs didn't get credited either. The original, the OGs, which they're pretty pissed about, and rightfully so. Considering that they're still using all the same code. I mean, even though I'm playing this game feels like a new game, it's all based on the old code and all of the original design. So it's not like it was remade from scratch. They just updated the artwork. And in that interview that got taken down, the artist actually mentioned that they did use the original art as a reference and as a way to work out the collision and all that jazz. So yeah, that sucks. Jack Matthews and Zoid commented on that. They did indeed. And to be honest, I've spoken to a few other of the devs that also worked on the original, but they're not as vocal as Jack and Zoid, but they feel the same way. They're pretty pissed about it too, which is fair enough. Come on. What the? Wasn't this? Many devs will spend years on multiple projects, and some which get cancelled and was never to be announced. Yep. Just think of the project between Tropical Freeze and Metroid Prime Remastered. Retro Studios worked on stuff for years, and Mike Wicken actually made a very good point about this, right? If you're working in a studio and you don't release any games, you have no metric of capability to show any other studio. So how they're supposed to know how good your work is if you haven't shipped any games. It's messed up. But then at the same time, I suppose I understand that you don't want to release a crap product either. Bomb jump OG style. Yep. God, I love this music. I reckon if you've ever got anxiety, just play this music in the background. And you'll immediately feel at peace. Oh yeah, that's right. What am I doing? When you reach out to devs, how does that usually work out? Especially for the really well-known ones. Do they get a lot of people wanting to do stuff like that? I don't actually know if they get reached out to people all the time. I do know with Mick Gordon gets reached out to a lot, and most of the time he turns people down. I think he told me off air actually that the reason he agreed is because I don't ask stupid questions, which is nice. But it really depends. I mean, most of the time I reach out to a dev, I'd say for every 40 requests that I reach out to, probably 30 of them never reply, and 8 of them probably just say no, and then maybe 1 or 2 will say yes. So, yeah, I see why a lot of people would rather just do game news as opposed to... Oh my god. But yeah, I get a lot of rejection, which is why, which is probably why, if you've noticed as of late, I haven't done as many as I used to, because you actually do get a bit burned out reaching out to people all the time. But what you realize is that you don't really take it personally, because most of the time people are saying no. They could be saying no for a hell of a lot of reasons. Quite a lot of game devs are actually introverts, and they get a bit of anxiety just talking to some random person, even if it's about their work. And then sometimes if you're working on a game, right, the last thing you want to do when you go home is talk about a game or talk about your work. Like, I know with my job, I don't want to talk about my job once I get off work. So there's a number of factors. And then I think some journalists have ruined it for people, because there's too many journalists these days that are all about gotcha questions and got to get the big scoop. So it's a bit like applying for jobs. Yeah, it is. It's pretty much exactly the same. But I try to keep my emails brief or my messages brief. Like if somebody was to reach out to me for an interview and they sent me this massive long novel, then I'd just be like, oh, no thanks. Yeah. The thing was, I actually ended up on a massive down buzz. I think it was... So, what happened was I scored the Mike Wicken interview, right? And then that seemed to somehow cause a bit of a domino effect when then I got Brian Walker afterwards, and I got Clark Wen, and I got Klein and Pearson, and then I got Jack Matthews, and it was all in a row. It was like 4 or 5 devs from Retro Studios all in a row. And then I just felt like I was on top of the world, right? Because every one of them got media attention, every one of them was big, and people were commenting on it, and then all of a sudden, nothing. And then that's when your brain starts to play tricks on you. Because you're like, well, what did I do? What did I do wrong? But it's just the way the game goes. Yeah, Mike Wicken is very, very well spoken. I was just saying earlier that I'd love to do another interview with him where I was actually not disoriented, because when I did the Mike Wicken interview, I had 1 hour's sleep and I had fractured ribs. I was in so much pain during that interview. So much pain. Well, I gotta give a shout out to Cinemax, because when you trace it back, I think the genesis of everything with the Retro Studios, Metroid Prime stuff happened there. The funny thing was, I didn't even intend to become that guy. It's not like I started the show and I was like, you know what, one day I'm gonna interview Metroid Prime Retro Studios devs. It happened completely by accident. It was very organic, which is probably why it's worked out. But I actually interviewed Cinemax, and then when I approached Mike Wicken, I used the Cinemax interview as reference. So, who knows if Cinemax had never agreed. And I got to give props to Cinemax, because he was quite nervous about that interview. I only say this because I think it's a testament to him that he did it anyway, even though he had a bit of anxiety about it. But I tried to be like, hey dude, it's all good. It's fine. For some reason I thought I had a space jumpers. Fail. Hang on. Why don't you go up this way? Why don't I make that way? Super Metroid Tunnel. Sorry for the dip. I'd put it on the algorithm for the dip. Have you reached out to Mark Puccini? Yes, I have reached out to Mark Puccini, and he emailed me saying he actually replied. And I always give him credit for this, because most of the devs don't even reply. But he actually replied, and he said, I don't do Metroid interviews anymore. So I was like, alright. Any off secrets on what went down at Retro Studios when Michael Cowboy took over? I do know some stuff, but I can't say. I'm sorry. I really wish I could, but I can't say. Oh my god. I'm the wrong way again. How long do you spend working on the interview questions? Good question. Good question. You should be an interviewer. It really depends on the guest. How I try to frame it is I prepare questions beforehand, but at the same time, often while I'm doing an interview, I'll think of stuff while I'm speaking to the person. So I'll think of a question while they'll be talking about something, and then a question will pop into my head. And the actually annoying thing is then I might have like 3 questions in my head, and I'm trying to remember which one to ask. And then sometimes I think of a really cool question in the middle of them talking, and then I lose it. I go blank. And sometimes it's a matter of trying to understand what the guest specifically is getting passionate about, or what they like specifically. You have to try and feel it out while you speak to them. So yeah, it's a combination. I mean, I prepare. I think for the Mike Wicken interview, I swear I must have written like 100 questions, and I think I only even asked 2 of them. All the rest were up off the cuff because of stuff that he was saying. And I think, if I recall correctly, I think the original there was a question about Quadraxis. That was definitely one, and then I think just on how it came together, considering it was such a cacophony of problems. What am I doing? Yeah. Well, I think the thing is with Mark Pacini and some of those Metroid Prime devs is you got to remember that experience wasn't actually the most fun for some of them, right? I mean, Mike Wicken missed birthdays. He missed his kids' birthdays while developing Metroid Prime. He made a lot of sacrifices, and a lot of the devs did. So, well, actually, all the devs did. I shouldn't say a lot. Pretty much all of them did. And so, it might actually be hard, or they don't want to relive that experience. Probably traumatic for them, you know. So, yeah, I don't blame. And with creatives only see the flaws in their work most of the time. I mean, I'm even like that. I watch an interview and I'm like, oh, I could have done this better. I should have asked this. Yeah. Sometimes we're our own worst critics. Hey Kiwi, just want to say it's awesome that you have all these interviews and peel back the curtain a bit on game development. Thank you. I try to give developers their due. Could Prime have been developed without crunch in an alternate timeline? Yeah, I think so. You gotta remember, for a lot of the devs, this was a passion project for them. Because there's 2 types of crunch. There's the mandatory crunch, and then there's self-inflicted crunch, where basically you do it to yourself. Where because you're so passionate about the project that you might just work all these additional hours. I think it could have happened, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like, if there hadn't been crunch, if they didn't have the tight deadlines, we probably would have seen Kraid in this. We would have seen Kraid in this game. But he got cut due to time constraints. Though I will say, Mercury Steam did a phenomenal job with Kraid and Metroid Dread. I can't believe they did 9 months. I think it was 9 months of 100-hour weeks plus for Metroid Prime 1. Every day. No day off. Yep. Totally. Yep. Failure of management. I think it's probably worse in corporate America. I just save it. No. That's not even a save. I will say, even though Krabe was replaced by the Omega Pirate, I think the Omega Pirate's probably my favorite boss. Oh my god. That was a fail. Kynan Pearson said to add 50% to however long you think it will take. Yeah, he's not wrong. I was actually thinking, and feel free to chime in here, guys. I was thinking next year, for Metroid Prime 2's 20th anniversary, I might just do a huge blowout and get everybody back to talk about Metroid Prime 2. What do you guys think? Get all the goss on Metroid Prime 2. I think at some point EGM stated the GameCube. Oh, they'd be interested. I'm on good terms with all of the devs, so I think they would. Oh my god, what a fail. Yeah, I think they'd all say yes. I don't think it would be a problem. I think I'm on good terms with all of them. That's the thing. The whole interviewing game's all about reputation, man. If you screw that up, it's game over. What I always, and that's part of the reason why I don't do the interviews live, is because guests are more nervous because they have to really watch what they say, right? So at least if you do it, recording it as opposed to just doing it live, then if they want me to cut something out, then I can easily do it. Yeah, Wavebuster, good question, buddy. Creative Kevy. Is it Kevy or Kavy? What was the most confusing answer you got from the devs where you were left scratching your head? Ooh. Well, Jack Matthews, on the very first interview I did with him, he got really technical about lighting. And sometimes, I'll reveal this here. I shouldn't really be saying this, but I will. Sometimes you have to make the guest think you're as smart as they are, or you know what they're talking about, even when you have no idea what they're talking about. Primarily because if they feel like you know what they're talking about, then they're more relaxed. So with Jack Matthews, I actually made him think that I'm a lot smarter than what I am. But yeah, he started talking about all the different lighting and, what was it? Not spectral lighting, was it surface normal and all this other stuff. And I was like, what? But he didn't know that I didn't know what he was talking about. He thought that I knew. So. Yeah, man, fake it till you make it. I mean, that somewhat works. I mean, if you wanted to be a piano teacher and you said, yeah, and you go for a job interview and you're like, yeah, I can play piano, and then you can't. Obviously, you can't fake that. But yeah, there are sometimes you have to fake it. I've actually faked stuff in job interviews before because I know on the actual job I will end up learning that specific task. So, yeah. There you go. There's some work tips for you. Interview tips. Specular highlights? I don't think it was specular highlights, but he was talking about diffuse lighting and specular lighting, and then he was talking about the reflection on the surface normal. Lighting people will probably be like, oh yeah, I know what he's talking about. I actually feel like I know so much about game development just from listening to these guys. It's real fascinating. It's one of the greatest appeals of doing it, is you learn so much. It's always never enough time though. Yeah, that's right. I've heard of fake it until you make it used as a term in both entertainment and game industry interviews before, with people that are no doubt accomplished nowadays. It happens sometimes. Yeah, man. Sometimes that's just what you have to do. But you have to be confident in your own abilities, right? Like if you can pretend that you can do something, you better make sure that you can learn it. Because the thing is, you can fake it, but you should never let people let on that you're lying or you can't do it. So if you can say you're going to do something, even if you can't do it. Oh my god. What the hell? Time in NG allowed. It'll probably be 10 hours of stuff to talk about with each interview. Facts. Yeah. Got to remember though that these people have families, right? You're taking them away from their family time or them playing video games or doing some sort of hobby, hanging out with their spouse or whatever they're doing. So I try to be mindful of that. You know what is the worst thing? And this is something that pisses me off. Is there's these interviewers out there, right? They have access to like some of the biggest names out there, but they don't even bother to do any research in terms of watching other interviews, and they just ask them the same questions that other interviewers have asked them. It's like the worst. It's like, man, you have this privileged position to be able to ask them some really good questions, and you just ask them stupid stuff. Okay. Is this? Yeah, this is the way. You have to have certain qualities, no doubt. Of course, we all have lives. I'm grateful they share what... I've seen that before. I can't remember. I've listened to many interviews of different kinds. Yeah. I mean, interviewing's not easy. It probably looks easy. But it really isn't. It was interesting because I had a chat with Andre. I hope he doesn't mind me. Andre from Game Explain. I hope he doesn't mind me telling the story. But I only tell the story because it says a lot about him, and it says a lot, and it actually helped me out quite a bit. But he says that every time before he goes live or he does an interview or anything, he actually gets quite a bit of anxiety. I mean, I never knew this, right? Which says a lot about him. The fact that he is still willing to put himself out there despite the anxiety. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I don't even get anxiety when I'm speaking to someone. So if Andre can do it, then I'm all good. Sorry, Andre, if you didn't want me to reveal that secret of yours, but... What was it like to work with so-and-so? Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's one of the best interviewers, I think, or somebody I hugely respect, is Sean Evans. He's the guy who does Hot Ones. You know, where he speaks to those people about celebrities about, well, whatever. Wrong button, man. And they're eating hot wings. But he always is thorough with his research. And he finds stuff out where they're like, how did you know that? And so I take a bit of inspiration from that. With the Mike Wicken interview, there were a couple of times where I asked Mike Wicken stuff that he wasn't expecting me to know. It's cool to throw out those curveballs sometimes, because just to see their reactions, because they're like, what the? How do you know that? Yep. If you've got a lot of anxiety and you're constantly facing it all the time, then yeah. I'm trying to think what makes me anxious. Well, gonna go to bed because it's almost midnight, but here's another thank you and kudos for some of the most enjoyable techie interviews I've listened to. Cool. Have a good sleep. Have a good sleep, dude. Bradshaw. Like the wrestler. Wayback Machine to your ongoing website. Love it. So, yep. The problem is there's some, particularly when I'm speaking to game devs, is some of them are really secret squirrels. Like you literally can't find anything about them because they're not on social media. They don't post anything. And it's like, man. Like Brian Walker was one of those guys. I was like trying to find info on him. I'm like, mate, this guy's not on anything except LinkedIn. Looking back now, what's the one question where you were like, damn, I should have asked that question. Oh, dude, I have that all the time. I don't know if I can think of specifically one. I'm trying to think of it. There's so many, dude. There's so many. How did you get so into retro? Just curious. Wasn't intentional, to be honest. It's just one of those things that happen. I mean, I've always been a Metroid fan, and I do love retro. I think I love the Metroid Prime trilogy. I think Tropical Freeze is probably the greatest 2D platform of all time. But I never planned on becoming hardcore into retro. It was just a happy accident. It really was. Like it all started with Mike Wicken. Seriously, it all started with him. Like it's just because he said yes, and then what happened was I posted the Mike Wicken interview on LinkedIn, and then Brian Walker liked the link, and I was thinking, hang on, Brian Walker, isn't this the dude who was the senior producer on Prime 2? And so I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, would you want to do an interview? And prior to doing the Mike Wicken interview, Mike had actually suggested that I reach out to Clark Wen, who was the audio lead. So I ended up interviewing Clark and Brian Walker around about the same time. So, and then they were all successful, they all did well, they got a ton of attention, and I was like, oh, okay, well, people obviously want this stuff, so I'll just be that guy. But I didn't intend to be that guy. It's just a happy accident. And so yeah, and now I know all these guys on a personal basis, somewhat. So it's really cool. Zoid, who's one of the developers, senior engineer, I interviewed him. He might be actually coming to New Zealand later in the year, so he might actually come stay at my house for a bit, which would be cool. Hook him up with free accommodation. Gaming Insight is so interesting. It is. I don't think people realize how much skill is actually involved. How much stuff goes on behind the scenes, right? We only see the end product. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Go away. I found you sooner because I happened to check on Nintendo Life one day. Yeah, Nintendo Life are good, man. They've covered a lot of my stuff. I actually remember with the Mike Wicken one. They did 3 articles on my Mike Wicken interview in one day. 3 interviews. 3 articles. I was like, what? This is insane. Unseen 64 also has some good stuff on early and cancelled retro studio projects. Yeah, they do. They do. I don't know actually if it's a team doing it or anything. I know with the Did You Know gaming guys, there's a whole team of them. Unseen 64, I think there's a whole team of them. I mean, my job would be a hell of a lot easier if I had a team helping me. But then I'm also a control freak, so I don't know if I'd be able to hand over the reins. But I probably should hand over the reins, because if something happens to me, there's nobody to take the show over. I need to set up some sort of protege. Maybe I just need to have a kid. I got a question for you guys. What do you want to see in Prime 4? Is this as hard to find physically in New Zealand as it is in the States? No. Metroid is not popular here at all. In fact, a lot of people that I know here didn't even know what Metroid was until I started doing interviews about it. Nintendo's not very popular in New Zealand. It's PlayStationville here. Yeah. If you view... PlayStation's massive in Europe, right? And it's very similar here. PlayStation's massive here. I hope to shake up the formula for 4 like they did with Breath of the Wild. Yeah, but here's the thing. You got to keep your expectations in check, because they're not going to be doing Metroid Breath of the Wild, because there's no way, from a technical standpoint, there's no way they could do open world and make it 60 frames per second. No way. It's not possible. They might be able to have some aspects maybe a little more open, but... yeah. Dude, I love Deus Ex, man. Okay, well, you can ask me anything and I'll tell you. Whatever you want to know about New Zealand, I'm happy to tell you. I don't want open world. I definitely something that's just a bit more open-ended. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Actually, I should probably save it. Just in case. If they combine all the good aspects of all 3 games, it will be in GOAT conversations. I'm telling you that right now. You can quote me on that. Yeah, I'd like that too. More lore connected to the 2D games, but I think that's all dependent on Sakamoto. Seeing gunship flight gameplay, but it would have to be done right. Agreed. Does your country get confused with Australia often? It does by Americans. A lot of people think that the New Zealand accent and the New Zealand accent and the Australian accent sound the same. But the New Zealand accent sounds like this, right? Well, there's 2 New Zealand accents. There's this accent and then there's the core accent, probably that you know from Thor, right? The hey bro, how's it going, bro? That's an actual New Zealand accent. But the Australian accent is like this, mate. It's a bit more pitchy, you know? Throw another corn on the barbie, mate. How the hell are you? But our flags look similar, so that's probably another reason why people get confused. Live ones, that is, in America. I'd like to see them around more. Hey. Yeah, sequence breaking would be cool. I've got a really pet peeve, and that's when people say to me, or I read online, Metroid Dread is too linear. I'm like, dude, just watch a speedrun, man. It is not as linear as you think it is. Metroid Dread is linear. Huh. I think I remember reading somewhere that 70% of Americans don't have a passport. Can an American confirm that for me? Those jetpack pirates always reminded me of the flying mantids. Yeah, true, they do. They do. Do you have any big criticisms about Prime 1? The artifact hunt wasn't needed. I understand it was added for padding because the devs were worried the game was going to be too short. So I don't like the artifact hunt. I think it's a waste of time. I don't think it was necessary. And I think they could have added an elevator from Fendrana to Talon. I mean, you travel through Magmore Caverns a lot. And they probably could have added shortcuts, maybe a bit more to get to something. Particularly, like say the boost ball, you have to go through Magmore. Actually that's not too bad, but the phase online stuff, it's a bit annoying. I don't have a passport. Dude, why do you not have a passport? How can you not have a passport? Dude, I don't want to tell you what to do, but I'm going to tell you what to do. I think you should get a passport. Seriously. I don't even need to worry about that. I'm still buzzing out. How do you not have a passport? I, as an American with a passport, cannot confirm. I don't know if they don't have passports, but around 80% don't really travel. Why is that? Why do Americans not travel? Can someone please explain this to me? That's one of the coolest things I think you can do is travel. And I mean actual travel. Like not window shopping traveling. Like window shopping traveling is where you go to a country and then you just spend time in hotels and you go to all the tourist destinations. You don't get really the full experience. And like when you go to an actual country and you learn about the culture and stuff, you grow as a person, and then you can compare that to your own country and make comparisons and work out what's great about your country and what isn't. You learn things about yourself. You'll learn to appreciate stuff more. But yeah, I just find that fascinating. Why do Americans not travel? Someone explain that to me. There's a lot to do domestically. Yeah, I won't argue with that. You guys pretty much have everything. I need to scan this. Yeah, well, your country is massive. I will say this, because I went to Seattle back in 2012, and it was a real eye-opener for me, because a lot of the international media we get fed is all the crazies, all the nutters, right, that do all the insane stuff. So then as a result of that, people see America and they're like, oh my gosh, it's full of crazy people. But it's not actually the case. I mean, some of the nicest people I met were in Seattle. My opinion is that because, honestly, the US is such a big country, going to different states is experiencing very different. Valid point. I'm not against traveling, I just never thought about it. Probably because there's a lot of variety in the US in terms of terrain and touristy things to do. Yep, that is true. But it's still America. Still America, man. What are your thoughts on Metroid Other M? There always has to be one. If you visit Seattle now, it will all be true. I also hate flying. My girlfriend loves traveling. So, bro, I can tell you right now, bro, that I hate flying as well. But the unfortunate thing is when you live in New Zealand, flying anywhere that takes Australia, that isn't Australia, takes ages. Takes forever. I've been to the UK 6 times, and that is the worst flight because it's literally on the other side of the world, and there's exactly a 12-hour time difference. What are my thoughts on Other M? I hate it, by the way. I hate that game. The funny thing was when I started playing it, I was like, okay, I was waiting for the bit where I thought it was going to get good, but it just never came to pass. Never happened. What's your favorite Prime game, do you think? It changes intermittently. Sometimes I like Prime. I like Prime's level design. I like its soundtrack. I like the overall lore, but then Prime 2 has Sanctuary Fortress, man. It has the best bosses in the series. I like how unique it is. The dark suit. Dark suit is awesome. The light suit is awesome. And then I actually like Prime 3. I know some people don't like it, but I like that it switched it up. And I like that Prime 3 does not have a fetch quest. That's great. And I love Skytown as well. So, but yeah, I love them all equally. It's really hard to decide. I mean, I probably have to say Prime. I know that's like the cliche thing to say, but... I've never played 2. Played a little bit of 3. Dude, you need to play 2, bro. You need to play 2, man. 2 is awesome. Both Prime and 2 grow on you with successive playthroughs. I very much agree. I think also, sometimes I wonder, I'm like, do most people like Prime 1 just because it was the first one? And sometimes I wonder that. I'm like, do I like Prime 1 the best because I actually think it's the best, or have I been conditioned to think it's the best because it was the first one I played? I hope the high demand for Prime Remastered convinces them to do a quality remaster of 2 and 3. I'm pretty sure that they're doing 2 and 3. I'm pretty confident. Pretty confident. Based on Super Metroid. Yeah, pretty much is. I think the developers even said, right, they use Super Metroid as their Bible. Go away. Here's an idea. Do you reckon we shouldn't have respawnable enemies in Prime 4? That space pirates don't just keep respawning? I hope that if they do remaster 2 and 3, they will be more comfortable changing some things, just small things. Yeah, the problem is there's some Metroid fans that are just, I don't know, they just view like Super Metroid as the holy grail of Metroid games, and if you deviate too much from that, it's a bad thing. But I've always felt, I'm like, look, if you want something like Super Metroid, just go play Super Metroid. Why do you want every Prime game to be like Super Metroid or like Metroid Prime? And then from a developer standpoint, they don't want to just keep making the same thing over and over again. Do you think they should have adjusted the Chaozu artifacts quest at the end of the game for this remaster? Yes. I think they either should have removed some artifacts or made them easier to get. Like the one in the Space Pirate research facility that I just passed, right? Make it so you don't need the plasma beam to get it. That you can just get it while you're already there, for example. So there were ways around it, but yeah. Have you ever learned how exactly the old NDAs existed for games such as Prime or companies involved with Nintendo? Does info stay under wraps for their lifetime? Very curious. There's probably lifetime NDAs, but it's not just a simple matter of that. Like, Nintendo don't like anything being leaked, right? So if you're working, let's say you work for Retro Studios, then you leave. And you leave on good terms. And you maybe want to come back at some stage. If you've done an interview with me and you've revealed all this information about Retro Studios, there's a high chance you won't be hired, right? So you can almost be blacklisted, or you could be shooting yourself in the foot, work-wise, possibly, or at least coming back to Retro. So that's probably the reason. I mean, if you notice with a lot of the devs, right? Mike Wicken is no longer in the industry. Jack Matthews is no longer in the industry. Zoid's retired. So they can talk about it without any repercussions. SM is amazing. Yes, I agree. It is. Do I have any insight as to what Retro is working on after Tropical Freeze? No, I have no idea. I have no idea. But I do know that Tanabe wasn't involved. I mean, some people have hate on Tanabe. But the thing is, Retro's at its best when Tanabe is involved in the project. When he's not involved in the project, then they seem to have a mess. That was the same thing with the Zelda project. So after Metroid Prime 3, tried to do a Zelda project. I think that's on Digino Gaming. But Tanabe wasn't directly involved. And I think Nintendo helped Retro kind of stay in line, so to speak. To help keep them in check and make sure that they don't lose focus. You can hop on boxes and fire a missile over the barrier. Hop boxes. Over the barrier. If you did more interviews about Prime 3, I would be curious to hear more about the development of Hyper Mode. Well, Brian Walker already talked about Hyper Mode. Is there something specific you want to know about Hyper Mode? Because I'll probably end up talking to Brian Walker maybe again at some stage. Yeah. Well, if you think about it like this, regardless of whether people's feelings on Tanabe, or Nintendo for that matter, notice that for the most part, I look at Mercury Steam, right? their output has been significantly better since having Nintendo providing them with that seal of quality. Do you think Metroid 4 is going to be a Switch 2 title? I don't even know at this point, man. I mean, I just read some rumor today about Jeff Grubb saying that Switch 2 might be coming into this year. I'm like, what? That makes no sense. They could do a cross-gen thing where they maybe do it on Switch and Switch 2. I wouldn't have a problem with that, but it's just hard to know. It's very hard to believe rumors because some people are just seriously making stuff up just for clout. Oh, yeah. Actually, you can get it early. There's some trick to it, isn't there? You can see this in Super Mario. Thardus is like Helios. How so? In terms of the theme? Is that what you're talking about? I think Nintendo is stun-locked trying to figure out how to make another Wii U type flop after this. Too bad the Nintendo seal of quality isn't consistent across the board like Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. Well, I think I had this discussion with somebody. With their spin-offs, not really. It just depends on where money flows and where their investment is. And that's the box hopping trick. It's for that artifact. It has a ball for it. Emily Rogers has been pretty consistent, but I haven't followed her in a while. Yeah, she's consistently wrong. Or she jumps on other people's rumors. But I will give her credit. She is sometimes right, yes. It's surprisingly not too tricky. Where's the trial while you're here? See, this is the bit where it gets weird. And I'm going to ask Jack and Zoid when I speak to them about this. This is the bit where it gets weird. And I've watched a few streams. So, people go and get the ice beam, right? You get the ice beam. Now, you think that the game is funneling you to the Crash frigate site, right? But the game's like, no. You have to go back to Fendrana Drifts to get the gravity suit. Which I've always found a bit weird. Surprisingly not to do that. Have a good one, Tal. I might wrap up soon. Can't even go that way. Phase on mines. I think it's just kind of make the player go, once they finally get the revenue. Yeah. But I don't have a problem with that. It's the fact that it funnels you. So I know there's a lot of players that get frustrated. And I actually, the very first time I played this game, I did the same thing. You get all the way down to the crash frigate, and then the hint comes in with the data is here. And then you find out you have to go all the way back to Speedrunning drifts. How do you think they can mix up the combat for 4? You can probably have some melee stuff. I really want them to... I think you should be able to run. Run, speed booster. Yeah, maybe some more stuff you can do with your hand. And you start releasing new colors. I think 6 months to 2 years away from the new console. I'd love to see more content like this. You're honestly doing a great job. Thanks for the info and everything since you're doing these interviews. Thanks, bud. Yeah, just if you guys want it, I can do it. I'd personally love a first-person melee. So would I. There's a lot of things they can probably add to it. It just probably depends on buttons. I think they wanted it to be like power bomb, not go to Meridia yet without the gravities. Yeah, but the problem is with Super Metroid, you have the ability to run, and you can get across rooms. You can get across rooms faster. So. Also, how you have to go all the way into mines to get PBs just to leave to get X-ray plasma. Yeah. Yep. It would be cool if you could do some of the stuff out of order. That would be a good way. Maybe a fast dash instead of a run like Dread's flash shift. Yeah, well, in Doom Eternal, don't you have that? It's kind of like a flash shift, but in first person. I think, isn't there some developers from id Software that are actually at Retro now that are probably helping to develop the game? I have no idea why I came this way, by the way. Oh, by the way, people, I mentioned this in Discord, but I'll mention it to you guys here. I might have a Metroid Dread interview in the works. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the guy to confirm. He's keen to do it, but for some reason it takes him ages to get back to me. Do you think we'll ever find out what Retro was working on between Donkey Kong and this remaster? No, not unless Did You Know Gaming do it. But from what it sounds like, it was an original IP. So something Retro made from the ground up, but I can't say for sure. So. I'd love to know if there was an area intended for the upper right part of the Dread map. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it does wrap up quickly. I think it's because the devs ran out of time. They were under some, their management pipeline. I don't know if things just didn't go according to plan or any of that stuff, but yeah. Where am I going, by the way? Oh, fail. I thought I could get up here for some reason. Nope. I was too keen. Too keen. Came here too early. I'd love to see Retro do an original IP someday. Yep. Same. And I think that's what that was. But for whatever reason, it didn't pan out. They're probably tired of it. Well, I know they got massive burnout after Prime 3. They were so fatigued after that. Okay, I gotta remember where the hell you go. Hang on a sec. Nursery. Oh my god. Alright. I'm pretty sure it's this way, but I can't remember for sure. Movement mechanics in Super Metroid made backtracking a lot easier. I don't know how much they considered that when modeling the route based off. Yeah, that's right. I mean, the 2D games, it's easier to navigate. You can run and all that, and so it makes backtracking easier. And so, I mean, it's cool. It's okay in Metroid Prime as well, but I just think it's done a bit better. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty content with a remake. I mean, remaster. Man, even I can't remember what it is. Oh, God. Alright. I've never seen another fellow Kiwi play Prime. Yeah, there aren't that many of us, dude. There's only 5 million of us. Well, 5.5 million of us. The funny thing was, this wasn't even where I was wanting to go. I just kind of ended up here. Dread is like this close to being a perfect Metroid game in my opinion. A better soundtrack and story is really my only complaints. When you say story, what do you mean exactly, Doom? Do you mean the plot holes? Is that what you're talking about? What style of Samus do you think they'll go for the next Smash Brothers? Well, they need to do Prime, man. None of this other M crap. I don't know why they keep going with the other M. It's like, okay. Nobody likes this game. So why do you keep going with that art style? Was Turret Dinosaur Hunter early Brood engine? Ooh. I should have actually come here after I got the X-rays. You know what's really annoying is those dark pirate commandos in the second Prime. They are the worst. Ah! What style of Samus do you think? Yeah, I like the old versions of the game with sequence breaking because you can skip a lot of backtracking. Although backtracking is a lot of fun. Yeah, I used to like doing the... What is it? The... what is it? The... Crash Frigate skip. There's that little gate you can jump over if you do... bomb jumps or something. I don't know. The narrative in general, plot holes in the fact that Dread doesn't really follow up on the GF plotline introduced in Fusion. But wasn't the GF plotline just a translation error? I thought that's what it was. And that's why they didn't follow up on it? I don't know. I'm quite curious, how much do you know about the speedrun for Prime? Which speedrun? Are you talking about speedrunners in general? Just use the dark beam and missile them like you're using an ice beam. Good to know, Doom. It's a fun trick to beat Dark Commanders quick though. They actually get frozen by, yeah. It's actually been a while since I played Metroid Prime 2. Okay, I'm having a massive... Usually I know where to go, so... But for some reason I'm just having a mind blank. The ghosts can kind of get annoying. Yeah, they can get annoying. The thing is with Federation Force is it was just wrong place, wrong time, and wrong art style. I really think that's what it is. I love this beat, man. It's so gangster. Heading off to work, people. Enjoy. Damn. What time is it there? Wouldn't it be so cool if everyone just had the same time zone? There's, because of New Zealand's weird time zone, there's so many interviews I do at like 5 in the morning. The recent one that just got taken down, I think I did that at 5:30 in the morning, 6. Pretty early. And even the Jack Matthews ones I've done at 5 in the morning. Hunters definitely needs a remake. Here we go. So, here's interesting. So the Hall of the Elders. Here's an interesting fact. The devs actually called it the bowling room. That was their nickname for it. The bowling room. It's almost 9:30 p.m. here in California. I noticed something, Doom. You're always online late. Like, you stay up really late. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just something I've noticed. Universal time. I would love more story connected to the soldiers and the war with the pirates. I think Halo could do with more of it as well. Zoid's brainchild, this room. Yep. Shoutouts to Zoid. I look forward to doing my review with him once he actually gets the game. He's still waiting for the game because he got the physical edition. Fun fact, it took until about a year or two ago for Secret World to found... What? To Secret World to found in Hall of the Elders. I have no idea what you're just saying. Oh my god.
Data received.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, I was so busy talking to you guys that I lost track of what I was doing. Yeah, I know. I'm probably heading to bed after this stream though. Secret World. Probably attacked it to get into it. Area you're not supposed to be. Honestly, I have so much respect for speedrunners. The fact that you can just play the same game over and over and over and learn every little nook and cranny and just try and beat your time. There we go. Speedrunning is a nice way to keep playing a game you love. I agree. I've managed to do some sequence breaks in Dread, and I know some sequence breaks in Super Metroid. I haven't really attempted any sequence breaks in the Prime trilogy though. Probably because they weren't designed with that in mind. Should have released a GBA to USB adapter for this game to get the unlocks. I wouldn't be surprised if when Fusion drops on the online shop that they release a Fusion suit for this. That's what I'm thinking, if they're going to do that. But then knowing Nintendo, they'll just be like, nah, what are you talking about? No Fusion suit. original Doom was based off of aliens and D&D. Really? The only games I really Sequence Breaker, Dread, and Zero Mission. Super I'll do early wave beam, but nothing else. I must say, I don't know how you guys find this, but I find Super Metroid hard to go back to now after playing Dread because of how great the mechanics are and how great Samus is to control. Does anyone else find the same problem? Samus feels floaty, the controls are weird. I'll probably have to wrap up soon. Go get me some dinner. Yep. Isn't there's some sort of ROM hack or something where it modernizes the controls of Super Metroid? Look at her pretty face. Hey. Okay. Alright, you're annoying me now. I mean, you could still pull off some pretty good tricks with Super. Just because of how the mechanics are. Yep, Dread's movement, man. That makes it hard to go back to the 2D games. For sure. Agreed. 48 kilohertz, man. That's the way to listen to it. I've got to be honest though, I don't think they'll ever be able to make a Metroid soundtrack like this again. I don't know, unless Kenji Yamamoto is doing the bulk of it himself. All these other noobs that are doing the series, they can't hold a candle to Kenji Yamamoto. Or maybe Manako Hamano. She did an awesome job on Fusion, I thought. Definitely hoping we get echoes and corruption. I am inclined to believe that Metroid Prime 2 and 3 are a thing. And it's not just because Jeff Grubb says it. I have sources that confirm this for me. Get David Wise to do Metroid. I actually asked David Wise when I interviewed him if he'd want to do Metroid, considering he has a good relationship with Kenji Yamamoto. But he was like, Metroid is his, he doesn't need help. Is it in here? I can't remember. No. That's not it. The camera system in the Prime games is definitely underrated. For sure, how they managed to make it all work is pretty insane. You have the late, great Mark Haig Hutchinson to thank for the camera system. He did it all, man. Legend. If you haven't watched my interview I did with Zoid, he talks a lot about the camera system, and because he worked directly with Mark Haig Hutchinson. Rest in peace to Mark. I doubt the credits will be updated, but I hope Nintendo Retro does the right thing. Nah, they're not going to do the right thing, dude. Come on, man. And to Nintendo's credit, I don't think it's a Nintendo thing. I think it's a Retro thing. Because Nintendo, they had the OG devs in Skyward Sword, for example. But I think it's just some sort of policy Retro have, so... Oh yeah, now we get the beats going on. Dum, 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 dum. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap up this stream at Phase On Mines. I think that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'll finish it another time. What is the... Dude, I'm still buzzing out over the shadow drop, man. That is one of the weirdest things. Oh my god. Pay attention. It's just so bizarre. It's like, hey, let's just shadow drop one of the greatest games of all time. No marketing. Weird. Well, with the morph ball, they actually tried to do the morph ball first person. But they quickly realized that, like, yeah, that's not going to work. My guess is they want to scatter them, as to not make people get overwhelmed with Metroid, I guess. Well, the shadow drop worked. Still apparently the best-selling game on the eShop for 3 weeks in a row. That is true. That is true. They clearly know more about marketing than me. But then, with that being said, would it be even bigger if they'd done marketing on top of it as well? It's hard to know. Oh, you. It's weird. I don't think Nintendo fully knows what to do with Metroid. That's the thing. There's one question I really want to ask Reggie if I ever get to it. Best track in the OST. Damn right, man. Go away. 1 a.m. Dude, you're a beast. This game plays wonderfully on Steam Deck. I need to get me a Steam Deck, man. They're not selling them here yet, though. I need to holler at Gabe and be like, yo, come on, hook me up. Samus T-pose. Oh, gee. Why are you trying to hide from me? Fuck you. I wonder if they'll add in the infinite screw attack or infinite space jump. In Prime 4. What is going on? My jump button decided not to work. I just want speed booster. They do that and it's an instant 10. Facts. Is this where I came from? The only way they'll do speed booster is if they do the panning of the camera so it pans out into third. There's no way you can do the first person. You might be able to run in first person. You're okay with throwing up. The Japanese won't be. you. Hey, first time here. Just found out you streamed. Thanks for all the great content. Well, this is actually my first stream, actually. So, hopefully I'll probably end up doing more of it if people want me to do more of it. It's actually a perfect time because my wife is away for a few days, so it worked out well. Otherwise, she'd be like, "Let's watch a movie." I wonder if they attempted space jump with a modified version of the morph ball camera. That's a good question. Oh. I'd be interested to see the Spacer wide beam and Rime 4? I'm guessing that's Prime 4. No, I can't be bothered fighting these guys. Traveling through mag. More cabins for the 12th time. It's really hard to say. I mean, I'd personally prefer Prime 4. And that's because I've played Prime 2 a lot. And I've played Prime 3 a lot. So I'll just be keen for something else. But any Metroid is good. Seems so weird, right? Considering we had a period where there was just nothing. And then the only games we did get were trash. So bizarre. But you can't go under the lava in this. Metroid Lime 4. Lime. I think Screw Attack is somewhat that can't gain vertical height. I think there was a reason for that. I think it was so it doesn't break the game, if I recall correctly. I think Prime 4 is sooner than we think, so I think 2 and 3 are coming after. Yeah, because you don't want to burn out your fan base too, right? Clearly we need a Federation Force remaster. I actually wouldn't mind a Federation type game that's kind of Call of Duty-esque, with a campaign and a full... with a cool campaign and multiplayer and stuff. Just don't make it chibi art style, and make it a bit more graphically detailed. You could do like a cool multiplayer thing with like, you could have 3 or 4 people as Federation Marines, and then one person playing as Samus against all the Marines. That'd be a cool multiplayer thing you could do. A lot of amateur mistakes like that. Yeah, I'm not ready to upgrade just yet. Well, I can, but I'd rather use the money towards holidays. Commando, I think, is the perfect template for a Federation spin-off. Republic Commando? Yeah, that's actually a good idea. They could, honestly, out of all the franchises they have, I think Metroid is still the one that they haven't fully tapped into yet. There's still so much stuff you can do with the franchise. Later, buddy. Yep. We should make a hashtag. Hashtag Metroid multiplayer. Man. This is so ambient, this section. Speaking of Star Wars, is it me or does it feel like the franchise is not as good as it used to be? What am I missing? I think I know. Dum, 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 dum. Oh God. It's getting to that time of day where I'm having a mind blank. There we go. think your sequel trilogy was lackluster, but most of the shows have been great. I haven't watched Andor, but I watched The Mandalorian. I watched the Book of Boba Fett. I didn't like the Book of Boba Fett. Mandalorian was all good. Stupid tentacle. Andor is incredible. It absolutely sets a new bar for storytelling. I watched one episode and I don't know if I got bored or something happened or... Starts off slow, but once it gets going. Okay, well, I'll have to give it another try at some point. Doom. The headphones are being weird. Tony Gilroy. Starts off slow. Do you guys think the Mario movie will be good? Yeah, it looks like it's going to be good, dude. I don't know if I want to go watch it. I really don't like. Movies here cost $22, and if you get like a deal, then you can go for $17. But they're insanely expensive, and $22 for what, an hour and a half? And I'm like, I don't know if I can be bothered, man. You can get games cheaper for that. I might wait for reviews. Maybe I'll go watch it. I don't know. I've got a feeling Mario will be the highest grossing video game film of all time. I'm calling it. Well, if it's good, then they'll probably do more of them, right? So, and that's what you want. Why is it that every single room... There we go. I'm seeing it day one. My friends and I are debating if we show up in tuxedos or cosplay. Dude, I must say, Doom, you'd probably look good in a tuxedo, man. I want to see Doom Crossing in a tuxedo. Looking pretty fly. Kids are starting to know who Mario is. Doesn't everybody know who Mario is? I feel like you have to be living under a rock to not know who Mario is. I can't stand the Lion King remake being the current highest grossing animated film. Oh yeah, God, that movie was terrible. It was just so bad. Alright, let's see how good my bomb jumping is. Kids are starting to not know who Mario is. Really? I suppose... Oh, come on. Gosh. No. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, man. If you got the chance to wear a good suit, do it, dude. Do it. Nintendo said that kids aren't as familiar anymore. That's why they started releasing mobile games. Probably, but you got to take into account that there's so many different various versions of entertainment, right? There's not one form of entertainment, and people are fighting for your attention all the time, so... I haven't seen an animated film I liked in a really long time. Yep, I'm the same. This always freaked me out, this part. It's like, intense radiation detected. You're like, whoa, okay. What do you guys feel about the MCU? Like, I'm kind of done with it at this point. I've totally lost interest. It's just too many shows and too many films, and they're average. I feel like everything peaked at Endgame, and then it's just been going downhill ever since. This is funny because every person that I've watched do the phase on mines for the first time, they always die. Every single time. They always die because they're not expecting to go so far without a save point. Oh. Yeah. Alright. I am done, people. Oh, I'll have to do the other part some other time because I need to smash me a feed. Oh, this has been great. I might have to do more of these with Q&As, answering people's questions. Yeah, and this is kind of like a timestamp. So if people want to ask me to get certain guests on, I can do it. Yeah. Oh, I liked Iron Man, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Guardians. Agreed. MCU has been focused on quantity over quality. I agree. I think a large issue is that I don't know what they're building towards. I don't even think they know what they're building towards. All right, people. Take care. I will organize another stream to finish off the phase on mines and then close out and do some more Q&A. I do have some more interviews in the pipeline. I can't really say anything until they're confirmed. But yeah, there were some more Metroid Prime Remastered guests that I was supposed to be getting on, but I don't know if this whole ordeal will prevent that from happening. I have no idea. But anyways, I'll love you and leave you. Until next time, stay safe.